now I want to make this responsive. So obviously we designed it for mobile first, and we're looking at it mostly in mobile first. And in the Figma, we could see that my design, right, was mobile first, right? Whoops. Where did you go? There we go. Okay. And then the next thing we said was we wanted to use semantic HTML. And so we can see that indeed my HTML is nicely semantic. I've got the properly structured with a doc type. I've got the opening and closing HTML. I've got my head where I have all the information about the site. Oh, that's weird. I didn't paste this in the right place. Put into the head here because we're loading you can see the inter font here. Next is I've got the H1, right? So every site should have an H1 or a title. And then I've got my gallery section. Inside my gallery, I've got my figures, and inside each of the figures, I've got an image and a fig caption to be able to help to tell my story. Obviously, right now at this width, it doesn't look very good. And you can see I've got a little bit of a problem with my, if I've got captions that are too wide or too long or whatever. And so you can see there's still a couple little things that we need to figure out, but it's starting to look better. So now let's make this responsive. So the first thing I'm going to do is on the gallery, I'm going to create a CSS grid. So I'm going to do display grid, and that does absolutely nothing, right? So we can see that there's not a grid. When it gets to be over 400, so let's say, over 400. So I'm going to create a media query. So at media screen, and let's say 500 pixels. Then I want that gallery to have two different columns. So one FR, so one fraction and one fraction. Okay. So now we can see, right, that once my page, or once the browser gets to be more than 500 pixels wide, right? So there's 498. And if I make it bigger, you can see now we've got, right, two different columns for the images. Okay. But we can see that there's another problem that is not that much fun, which is that the images, the thumbnails, have all different dimensions. So let's fix that using a little bit of CSS magic. So just on the gallery image, I'm going to set the object fit to cover. I'm going to set the aspect ratio 16:9 like this. And now because I've got a separate one for this, I'm going to take this max width out and put it here. So we're setting the width to 100% here, and then we're setting the aspect ratio to 16:9 here. So let's just come back here, and if I refresh, now we can see all of my images are the same. This image, which if you look at it here, you can see it's vertical image. Cover has made it so that instead of stretching the image like you can see here, you can see they're getting out of shape, and we don't want that. We never want that. What it does is it covers the full 100% of the area, but without distorting the image, so it cuts off the image, either the top and bottom or the left and right, as it needs. So this is looking a little bit better organized, if you ask me. Obviously, I'd have to add some things. The next thing is I'd like a little bit of space in between as well. So I'm going to come back here to my grid. All right, so there's my gallery grid, and I'm going to add a gap, and I'm going to add the same gap as the padding. All right, so now we've got a little bit of a gap in between that's the same as the outside, and it's looking even better. On the figures, I can probably, I feel like I can take that padding down a little bit now, right? We don't quite need as much. In fact, we don't need any, because the fig caption is taking up that space, right? Down below, right? And then but then we're moving it back up, so it's actually creating that space that we need. So I'm going to get rid of this padding on line 40. So I just hit Command/ to get rid of it. And I think that's good. So let's, if we look at it, let me just resize it a bit smaller. But if we look at it, we can see it does get to a size where they're a little bit too big. So then we're going to, right? We're going to create another. Let's do 400. We're going to create another media query, and we're going to set this one when it gets to 800. Then we're going to go to 3. And so that should be good right up to 1200. And so we'll create another one at 1200. And then I'm going to just do this, so we'll do repeat 1FR. So it should repeat repeat 4 1FR. We have to tell it how many times to repeat. Right? So you can see when we get to 1200, then it will do 4 columns. At 800, after 800, it does 3 columns. After 400, it does 2 columns, and less than that, it's just 1 column. Right. So there you go. We've gone from our Figma planning to creating some good semantic HTML, right? Using bodies and headers and sections and figures, and then obviously the footer. And then we've done our design mobile first, and then we've added then we've made it responsive by adding media queries. Okay, I hope this helps.